The idea of creating an international criminal court to prosecute the most serious crimes known to man was mooted more than a century before it finally became a reality in 2002. There were some suggestions at the end of the First World in an international tribunal, but that didn't really get off the ground. The major impetus obviously occurred that the setting of the Nuremberg and Tokyo International Military Tribunals at the end of Second World War. The United Nations did study the possibility of creating such an international criminal court until the early 1950s. But essentially, the Cold War meant that they didn't really move on until really at the end of the Cold War. The Yugoslavia and the Rwanda tribunals that were created by the United Nations in response to the levels of dissolution, Rwandan genocide, and that really gave impetus to the project of creating an international criminal court. The court isn't itself a UN body because it was thought that states would be free to opt in or opt out of the regime, and it was consensus that there should be a permanent international criminal court that could have jurisdiction over everyone and everywhere. The whole system of international criminal court was designed to make sure that the world puts in place legal norms to say clearly that war crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity are not acceptable, and if anyone tries to commit such crimes, they will be held accountable for those actions and can even be punished. The International Criminal Court is different from other international courts in that it was established by an international treaty and not by the United Nations. The International Criminal Court has jurisdiction over 121 states which have signed up the Rome Treaty. The UN Security Council can also oblige a state to cooperate with the court. The International Criminal Court is made up of four organs: the Presidency, the Judiciary, the Office of the Prosecutor, and the Registry, which provides logistical support to the other three parts of the court. The President is responsible for the proper administration of the court. The Presidency administers the judiciary of the court. When they have an actual case, they need to select judges to sit on a bench to hear the case before the court. The judges are elected by the member states. There are two routes of getting a case before the court. One is for the individual state, which is a party to it, and to invite the court to prosecute. The other is where the Security Council of United Nations initiates a case. In some instances, the Office of Prosecutor can also initiate an investigation. The judiciary of the International Criminal Court consists of 18 judges that are all elected for 9-year mandate and which cannot be renewed. The judiciary is the core. They are the ones who ultimately decide anyone's guilt or innocence. The procedure of International Criminal Court conducts the investigation, collects information, and then presents this information or evidence to the judges. They are the ones who decide whether there are actually grounds for instance to issue an arrest warrant. Are there actually reasonable grounds to believe that this person may be held responsible? Again, it is the judges who have heard what the prosecutor has to say and what the defendant has to say, and whether there are grounds to proceed a trial. The next is the Office of the Prosecutor, which in particular has to determine whether there are reasonable bases to proceed with an investigation. So, what are the means? Is that they do an analysis of information received at the very preliminary stage to determine three things: have crimes occurred which fall within the jurisdiction of the court, whether those crimes have been committed by an individual who belong to a country that is a party to a Rome Statute, or whether those crimes have been committed on the territory of a state which is a party to Rome Statute. This assessment is done in a division of office of the prosecutor called the Cooperation Division. The other two divisions of the Office of the Prosecutor are the Investigation Division and the Prosecution Division. The last part of the preliminary investigation is whether they be national proceeding, because the court will only step in if there has been a failure by national jurisdictions to genuinely prosecute international crimes. The registry, that is, the fourth part, deals with all of the logistical matters which make the court run smoothly. They recruit and train all the translators as well as arranging victim protection and transportation to The Hague. As the International Criminal Court does not have police force or any army, it has to rely on the cooperation of states which have signed up to a Rome Treaty to enforce its decision. In some instances, even if the state party has joined the Rome Statute, they may have reasons why they are reluctant to fully cooperate. I think the biggest flaw in the court is the absence of any enforcement power unless states want to cooperate with it. There's very little at the core can actually do to require them to do so. A very famous international judge, Antonio Casas, once described the International Criminal Court as being giants without arms and legs. And the arms and legs will stay cooperation, which the court haven't had much in relation to state cooperation to many of the investigations. This system of international criminal court holds the potential to develop and prevent crimes against humanity, war crimes, genocide. These crimes that can destroy communities can tear societies apart, and it will take generations to repair the wounds. The process of such a court necessarily involves detailed examination of complex issues, and very long delay in organizing trial can actually bring cases to conclusion. It is not a thing to deal with the way one deals with traffic cases in a local magistrate's court. So anything you can do to prevent that is really worth the effort. Thank you for watching my video. If you like such video, do subscribe to my channel so that you never miss any